What is going on, Niner fans? How we doing? How we feeling? We got a lot of things to talk about today. It was a jam-packed day of news, a fairly jam-packed day of news. We're going to talk about some good, we're going to talk about some bad, and we're going to talk about some in between, I guess is what we'll say. But how is everybody doing? Tomorrow, the rosters are due by 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific roster cuts. We're going to see a lot of people getting cut. They'll probably be back on the practice squad after they clear the waivers. 49ers made a few waiver moves today, but, ultimately tomorrow is going to be the big day. I think they have 18 players that they have to get rid of or waive to, trim this roster down to 53. And a majority of them hopefully will be back on the practice squad, or they might snag some people out there that are available from other teams. So we'll see. But let's get to the big news of the day. We'll kind of circle back to practice and some players that return, et cetera, et cetera. The big news of the day is Amari Cooper he signed with the Raiders on a 1-year deal. It was a 1-year, $3.5 million base contract with $500K in per game roster bonuses and then $2 million more in available incentives. So max value is $6 million. So it's a base of $3.5 million, a max of $6 million with the incentives and on roster bonuses and stuff. $6 million for Amari Cooper to me is pretty cheap. And why are we talking about Amari Cooper? The Niners reportedly, according to Deanna Rossini, the Niners were actually one of the teams trying to get Amari Cooper. They had interest. Obviously, the wide receiver room with the 49ers is pretty thin right now. There's a lot of injuries. Jordan Watkins, Jacob Cowing, Juwan Jennings. There's a lot of injuries, Brandon Ayuk. And it looks like they were trying to get Amari Cooper. A couple weeks ago, they missed out on John Amici. They got Sky Moore a week ago. The Niners have been trying to add receivers, and Amari Cooper was among the players they've been trying to get. A lot of fans have been screaming, go get Amari Cooper. They did try to, but I'm guessing the Niners weren't going to pay the max amount. $6 million to me doesn't seem like a lot. I mean, it seems like a lot of money, but in terms of getting a wide receiver like Amari Cooper, who's had a pretty good career, I know the last year or so wasn't that great. He didn't really pan out much with the Bills. He's still talented. You need wide receivers. So $6 million, I'm guessing the Niners may have maybe asked them to take $2 million or maybe $3 million at the most. So they missed out. He goes to the Raiders. But the other interesting part about the Raiders, Jacoby Myers has asked for a trade. So they're bringing in Amari Cooper. They might lose Jacoby Myers. Maybe they won't. I know the Raiders say they don't want to get rid of Jacoby Myers, but keep an eye on that situation. The Niners have been trying to get more receivers a lot. These next 2 days are going to be interesting. The roster cuts obviously are due tomorrow. We might see a move. We might see a trade. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but it's going to be a wild day, a wild day. But what is going on, everybody? Yeah, I see everybody saying, what's up? What's up? Myers, says Luis. Yeah, Jacoby Myers might be the guy. And today, freaking Scary Terry McLaurin, he got paid basically $32 million a year. I mean, was he like top 6 paid receiver in the league? A lot of money. They finally ended the hold-in. Terry McLaurin got paid. Trey Hendrickson today was a big day in news for the NFL, right? Not just the, Niners in general, but all around the NFL, people were getting their money. People were holding out people were ending their holdouts. Trey Hendrickson, Terry McLaurin. The 49ers still have not ended the Juwan Jennings situation. And yesterday, Tim Kawakami posted about the possibility of the 49ers placing Juwan Jennings on the injured reserve, which means he would miss 4 games. And if he does that, he would miss a lot of money because his contract is based off incentives. Now, why would they place him on an injured reserve? Well, he has a calf injury. And B, maybe they're not close to a resolution in his contract. So that's why the 49ers have been looking for wide receivers. And like I said, Amari Cooper was among those players. So let's go back to this Juwan Jennings news. So yesterday we posted, this was the report from Tim Kawakami. So he says, Juwan Jennings' lingering calf injury and long contractual stalemate with the 49ers could combine to send him to the injured reserve list this week. Multiple NFL sources indicated over the past few days. He goes, That wouldn't be quite the nuclear option for the 49ers, who to this point have not signaled that they are ready to trade or cut Jennings in the same way they offloaded Deebo Samuel and several others last spring. But there's growing frustration on both sides as Jennings continues to miss practice with a calf injury, and 49ers management continues to show little interest in restructuring his contract and giving him a big pay raise for the second time in little over a year. That's the big key, is the 49ers gave him a raise last year, and now he wants another extension. So I feel like there's Tim Kawakami saying there's frustration on the Niners' part. Juwan Jennings did not return to practice today. And then it says putting Jennings on injured reserve, which would sideline him for at least the first 4 games of the regular season, would hurt Jennings financially by severely reducing his chances at triggering incentives and game bonuses, and also would leave the 49ers dangerously thin at wide receiver at the start of the season. If they put him on injured reserve, you best believe they're going to go get a wide receiver. And again, Amari Cooper was one of those guys. So it's crazy. I really think the Niners were trying to get Amari, but they didn't want to pay him the money that he was looking for. I want to kind of look into Juwan Jennings' contract. He had a 3-point. So his contract has a lot of incentives due to it. Lombardi posted this. This was actually good information, and I want to kind of share this with you. $3.5 million of Jennings' contract is incentives. He gets 50% of snaps, he gets $1.5 million. So if he gets 60 catches, he gets another $667K. If he gets 600 yards, he gets $667K. If he gets 6 touchdowns, he gets $667K. He really likes that number, 667K. So 60 catches, 600 yards, 6 touchdowns, and if he plays 50% of the snaps, he's going to get $3.5 million in incentives. It's a lot of money extra, but he has to do a lot to do that. If you miss 4 games, you're going to miss snaps, you're going to miss catches, you're going to miss yards, touchdowns. He needs to play. So his contract is really incentive laden. It makes no sense for him to hold out. Hopefully they figure it out. But Juwan Jennings' contract is really heavily based on his game, his incentives. Maybe that's why he wants a new contract, because maybe he's not happy with the incentives in his contract, or the fact that his contract is heavily based on incentives. I mean, I think he's getting like $7 million this year, but $3.5 million of that is all incentives. You got to pay. You got to earn your dollar. Basically, is what the Niners say. Come play, earn your money, earn your bag. But he wants more money, and he wants to restructure that contract or extend the contract, fix the contract. But he did this contract last year. He went into the office. They figured it out, and they literally went and negotiated this contract last year. So if you didn't like it last year, what are you doing? I don't know. It's a crazy situation. Niners could have had Amari Cooper, but the Niners are trying to figure out this Juwan Jennings situation. He wants more money, so maybe it hampered them from getting Amari Cooper. I don't know. That's just my assumption. But I do think the 49ers really lowballed Amari Cooper. If he's only getting $6 million max from the Raiders, how did he not get that at least with the 49ers? That's my take on it. I don't know. It's insane. So, Real Teal, it says, "Hey, Raj, hope you're doing well, man. Love you. I love you too. Appreciate you. I'm doing good. I did some business meetings, got a new potential sponsor, and we met with Fresh Society. Fresh Society is one of my favorite sponsors. So we went there. We did some, we met, we did some business talk. We did a quick little short for them, but they gave me these. I got these new Diamond Turf Nikes. These are insane, bro. So I'm doing very well. Thank you very much. Yeah, appreciate you guys. But I couldn't do any of this stuff. I couldn't get sponsorships without the fans, the faithful, all the people that follow along on all my social media brands. So thank you, everybody out there. You guys are amazing, and that's why I get all the cool sponsors, because of you guys. So love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Steven Reynolds says, why can't we trade Jennings with the 3rd round for Jacoby Myers? Do it. Shit, let's happen. Make it happen, Steven Reynolds. I think the only issue with if the 49ers get Jacoby Myers wants more money, right? Everybody wants more money, right? Jacoby Myers wants an extension. He's trying to get paid. He's not going to take a $10 million contract or a $12 million contract like Juwan Jennings. Jacoby Myers is a very underrated, very good receiver. He's probably going to get paid $22 million. I don't know if the Niners want to pay a guy $22 million for a wide receiver. They already were burned by Brandon Ayuk. So I feel like that would be the holdup for getting a guy like Jacoby Myers. I think you'd be right with that. Give him a trade. Give him a player. Give him Juwan Jennings and a draft pick. 100%, Steven. I think that would be a great move. I think it would be a fantastic move. But I think that the money involved, ultimately, by getting Jacoby Myers, if he wants an extension, would be the hindering factor. Unless you just do a rental, a 1-year rental, it would be Rob. So Jennings is better than Myers. I think Jacoby Myers is a better player than Juwan Jennings as a receiver. But Juwan Jennings does a lot of stuff that Jacoby Myers doesn't. Like, he's going to block. He's a gritty guy. He's a clutch player. Listen, I love Juwan Jennings, but you can't overvalue him. But Bronson Reed watching my live. He better hide my sneakers. The tribal thief is going to steal my sneakers, bro. Can't do it. I better hide from Bronson Reed. Jay says Amari Cooper is washed. Yeah, but at this point, beggars can't be choosers. The Niners cannot be sitting here and say, oh, we can't get him because he's washed. You need some bodies, man. You got no Watkins, no Cowing, maybe no Jennings, no Brandon Ayuk. At this point, you need Amari Cooper. Like, I don't care if he's washed or not. You need some bodies. You know what I mean? But you're probably right. He's going to add to the Shula Fala. Call Adam Peters and get Terry. No way. They just paid Terry. Scary Terry got a bag today. He got paid a lot of money. Good for Scary Terry, man. You know what? A lot of people say he's not worth the $32 million. They're paying him for carrying that trash team before Jaden Daniels was there, for putting the team on his back for years. Where they didn't have they had nobody at quarterback. They had literally nobody at quarterback. And Terry McLaurin was dropping 1,000-yard seasons. So I think Terry McLaurin deserved the money he got today. That's like back pay. That's like back pay that they owed him. I mean, he may not be the best receiver in the league right now. He's still a damn good guy. He's still a damn good receiver. He deserved that money. $32 million a year. Good for him, man. Good for him. Good for him. Was it 3 years, $96 million? Good for Scary Terry, man. Cooper's not as good as he used to be. I 100% agree, Retro Gamer. I agree. He's not what he was. But again, the Niners, they can't be, beggars can't be choosers. I mean, at the end of the day, they're kind of cooked at wide receiver to a point. So I feel like, yeah, he may not be what he was, but you would need to pony up and pay him a little bit more cheddar to help your roster. But ultimately, it'd be a 1-year rental. Do you want to pay a lot of money for a 1-year rental? And I get it. You don't want to put in a lot of money for a guy that's probably washed and probably not going to be what he once was. So I understand the risk. I understand they didn't want to pay him the $6-7 million, whatever, that they could have paid him to get him, because they have $48 million in cap space. They could have afforded him, but it was a risk. Do they want to take that risk? Do they want to pay him? Would he be productive with the 49ers? He hasn't had any training camp. You know how the Niners are with their conditioning and stuff. So definitely would have been a risk. I don't think the Niners wanted to drop too much money on him. Although the contract is really incentive laden, I think they could have made it work. But hey, who do I know? But also, I think the 49ers really are trying to figure out this Juwan Jennings situation. And they don't know if they're going to figure out this. Is he going to get a contract tomorrow? An extension? What's going to happen with Juwan Jennings? That's, to me, is a very, very, very interesting situation. I got an update from Adam Schefter. I'm going to put my phone up here so you can see updates. It says, the Vikings and Panthers have tried to work out a trade for Carolina wide receiver Adam Thielen. It says, let me get the update. But who would like to return to Minnesota, but the two sides continue to struggle and agree. Let's see. The two sides continue to struggle to agree on compensation. So the Vikings and Panthers are trying to make a trade for Adam Thielen, but they can't figure it out. So Peter Rouse says, OBJ is on the way. Is he coming? Is OBJ? At this point, OBJ might be on the way. Y'all remember that? Hold on. Let me call up OBJ. Yo, OBJ, you remember me? That's right. Yeah, remember I used to post like 3 updates a day about you? I almost got you. Remember what was it? Oh, you want me to say the song that I used to sing? I used to say, OBJ is on the way. Remember that? Are you coming? Here, just tell me. I want. Oh. All right. Talk soon, OBJ. OBJ, ladies and gentlemen. He might be on the way. OBJ might be on the way. We'll see what happens. Retro Gamer says, maybe just rework Jennings' contract to give him a year extension. That won't cost a lot. I mean, I'm sure there's options they've been weighing. I'm sure there's incentives. I'm sure they're trying to give him a 1 year. Maybe he wants 2 years. Again, we don't really know how much he's looking for. We don't know how much he really wants. There's been a lot of speculation, but there's no actual concrete details. Until something happens with Juwan Jennings, it's all speculation. We don't know. So we'll see what happens. Let's take a look at some other news that happened today. There was a lot. So let's get to that. Let's go through the news of the day. Basically, we talked about Amari Cooper, how the 49ers struck out on that. But let's talk about some other news. So this morning, Matt Maiocco reported that the 6th-round pick that the 49ers are sending to the Washington Commanders for Brian Robinson is actually a conditional pick. So the 49ers had 2 selections in the 6th, their own, and 1 coming from Minnesota in the Jordan Mason trade. Washington will get the pick that comes later in the round. So whatever pick is second in the day in that 6th round, the Niners are going to give that one to Washington. So it's a conditional pick. We don't know what it's going to be until those conditions are met and the draft picks are set next year. So the 49ers had 6 players get named to the ESPN Top 100. Brock Purdy comes in at 96. ESPN projects him to get 4,578 passing yards with 25 touchdowns, 13 interceptions with 264 rushing yards, and 5 touchdowns. I think he could get 30 touchdowns. 13 interceptions. That's a lot, but he did throw a lot of picks last year, and this O-line has to protect him. I like the increase in rushing. I could see him getting 260 to 310, maybe 5 touchdowns rushing. He'll get that. 13 interceptions. I would like it to be less, maybe under 10. I would love to see it. I hope he doesn't make as many mistakes. 4,578 passing yards. That'd be fantastic. I hope he gets a little bit more than 25 touchdowns, but we shall see. They have Christian McCaffrey coming in at number 48. He was number 9 last year. Obviously, injury-plagued season. I think this is fair for him. They project him to get 261 carries. That's a lot. 1,189 yards and 9 touchdowns. The touchdown numbers are a little low for him, but I'll take it if he stays healthy. 261 carries. I hope they don't give him the damn ball that much, but I do expect him to be a beast this year. He looks great. Trent Williams, they have him coming in at number 36. That's pretty good for a guy that, missed a couple of games last year. He was on the injured reserve to end the season with an ankle injury, and he had a 95.3 pass block win rate, which was ranked number 2 in tackles last year. Tristan Wirfs was ranked better, the only player, at 95.9%. He's a dog. We need him healthy. Nick Bosa comes in at number 34. He was ranked 16 before, but he also was injured last year. Shocker. He had an oblique injury, and they said that his projected total is going to be 63 tackles, 11 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles. I hope he gets at least 15 sacks. 11's a little low. I think especially adding Bryce Huff, he should have better numbers. Plus, Robert Saleh knows how to get the most out of Nick Bosa. He drafted him. This is a guy that is going to make Nick Bosa back on the top of the edge rusher list. That's my opinion. They got George Kittle coming in at number 27. I feel like this is low for him. He was ranked 22 last year, and he had arguably one of his best seasons last year. Crazy. Last year, he was probably like the top tight end. He didn't even have as many targets as a guy like, Brock Bowers and all those guys. He was putting up stats like them. So he's the highest paid tight end in the league. They project him to get 82 receptions, 1,040 yards, and 7 touchdowns. I feel like he'll get more than 7 touchdowns. But because him and Brock Purdy are like locked, they're dialed in. They had a great camp together. Definitely think he'll be more than 7 touchdowns. But we'll see. Got to stay healthy too. And then last but definitely not least, they have Fred Warner ranked number 13. I think he should be top 10. He played last year on a broken bone in his ankle. He had a fractured bone in his ankle, and he still managed to put up 100 and how many tackles did he have here last year? 113 tackles last year. Come on, 131. He had 131 tackles last year with a fractured bone in his ankle. And now he has Robert Saleh back, and he's Fred Warner. Come on, man. This is what their projections for Fred Warner this year are absolutely ridiculous. I don't know if it was a typo, but they projected him to get 56 56? 1 sack and 1 interception. Those numbers are stupid. Fred Warner is definitely going to crush those. He's going to get double the tackles. He's probably going to get a couple sacks. He's going to get a couple interceptions. And forced fumble, they didn't even put any forced fumbles. ESPN, get out of here. We did see the return of we did see the debut of Brian Robinson Jr. He's wearing number 30. So that was cool. The 49ers had to make some roster moves in order to bring in Brian Robinson and everything else. And also to start cutting down their roster to 53, which we did a prediction last night. They placed offensive lineman Isaiah Prince on the injured reserve. If you watched the game on Saturday, he went down, I think it was in the third quarter. He left the game, so he's injured. Definitely, you could tell he was injured in the game, and he is going on the injured reserve list, Isaiah Prince, so he's not making this roster. And then the 49ers went and waived Tanner Mordecai and Carter Bradley. They got two quarterbacks, Brock Purdy, Mac Jones. My prediction was they're going to keep two quarterbacks, Brock Purdy, Brock Purdy and Mac Jones. Those are your two quarterbacks. Now, I do think they're going to bring one of these quarterbacks back to the practice squad, and I think it's going to be Carter Bradley because his daddy is a coach on the team. They also waived defensive lineman Jalen Allen, and they waived Shaquille Brown, They released Keyshawn Vaughn, running back. I think he might come back on the practice squad, but we'll see what happens. So again, they waived Tanner Mordecai and Carter Bradley. They did not waived Jalen Allen, Shaquille Brown, and they released Keyshawn Vaughn. So those were big moves of the day. And then great news today, Mykel Williams, CJ West, Ben Barch, and Richie Grant returned to practice today. That's fantastic. Upton Stout and Juwan Jennings didn't practice today, but they said that Upton Stout was practicing on the rehab field, on the side field, as was Dominic Pooney. Kalia Davis was also on the side field today. Jordan Watkins did not practice. Obviously, he's dealing with injury. Demarcus Robinson did not practice today. They didn't say why. Jordan James, broken finger, he didn't practice. Jacob Robinson, who fractured his forearm, did not practice. Stone Blanton did not practice. Dominic Pooney, but he was rehabbing. Russell Gage did not practice. Obviously, he's got the MCL injury. And Kevin Givens, he's not going to practice because he's going on injured reserve with the pec injury. So that's what happened in practice. And then the 49ers, they terminated their contract with Andre Dillard with an injury settlement. He played 1 day of practice, and he got an injury settlement, and he was on the injured reserve. But they just basically said, all right, get off the team. Here's an injury settlement. He gone. This man came to the team, went on the PUP, came back, made a practice, and then got placed on the injury reserve, and then got terminated within a matter of weeks. That was a terrible signing. Unbelievable. And then, of course, that brings me to the latest news, which we talked about. Amari Cooper went into the Raiders, but the 49ers had interest and obviously tried to get him, and it didn't work out. So that was the news of the day. The coolest thing was Brian Robinson returning, and the big quote of the day is he said him and Christian McCaffrey are going to be the best duo in the league. He was so professional. I love to hear him. He says, I told Mr. Lynch before I got here, I respect everybody in the room and Christian McCaffrey. I'm a competitor, and I'm ready to do my thing. He says, my job is to compliment him in the best way, and I could be the best duo in the league. He also said, I've been running the ball my whole life. I'm ready to plug and play. Woo! I love Brian Robinson already. What he said today in his press conference had me juiced. Man. So there we go. Let's take a look at some of these questions. Retro Gamer said, I think Tanner is slightly better than Carter. I agree, Retro Gamer. I do think Tanner Mordecai is probably the better of the two. It's slightly, but I don't think that Tanner Mordecai is making the roster because his dad is not coaching on the team. Davis or Myers, says Mario. I'm assuming you mean Gabe Davis or Jacoby Myers. I think Gabe Davis would probably be easier to get. He's cheaper, and he's coming off an injury. Jacoby Myers wants a big contract, and you would have to trade for him. And the 49ers, they seem to be playing thrift shop. They seem to be thrift store shopping, and I don't think if you're going to compare the two, Gabe Davis is going to be cheaper than Jacoby Myers, especially if it's a rental. If you're just renting a player for a year, Gabe Davis makes more sense because he's cheaper. But is he healthy? He's been rehabbing from an injury. So Louis says, trade Jair Brown for a wide receiver and claim safety Shiloh Sanders off of waivers or not. I mean, I don't know if Shiloh Sanders is going to be anything good in the NFL. I know everybody likes him because he's the dad or his dad was Deion Sanders, and we all love Nepo babies here in the Bay, apparently. But Shiloh Sanders was not a good player in college. I hate to burst your bubble, but Jair Brown is not a good player himself. So at least you get a wide receiver out of it. To me, it'd be a wash of a move. I don't think so. I'm not a big Shiloh Sanders guy. That's it. That's pretty much the news of the day. I don't know. I hope I leave this stream and we get some more news soon. I really do. I hope so. Any other questions or concerns? But that's it. I hope you guys saw the roster prediction show yesterday. I think I'm going to be spot on, but we'll see. I don't think I'll go 100. I don't think I'm going to go 100%, but we'll see on who gets picked, who gets left off the team. Tomorrow night, me and Larry definitely will be live, chopping it up, talking about rosters, and we're going to break it down and talk all about it. So 49ers Media says the 49ers are going to sign Raj to play kicker. Woo! When are the new jerseys dropping, says Mario Gonzalez? Wednesday. So they will be dropping the new jerseys on Wednesday, and I cannot wait. Too much drama. When does the 53-man roster cut start? I mean, they could start whenever they want. They could cut people at midnight. The 49ers are going to slowly make cuts throughout the morning, and they have to be done by 1 p.m. Pacific. If you're in the East Coast, that's 4 p.m. Eastern. So they will be early in the morning tomorrow. We're going to see a lot of updates. Cut. Boom. By 1 p.m., roster's set. So you'll see a lot of posts from me tomorrow. You see a lot of posts from me every day. It's different. So season starts next Thursday night. Crazy. That's crazy, dude. Already. Season's around the corner, bro. Unbelievable. Yeah, jerseys drop on the 28th, which is Wednesday, right? Wednesday is the 28th. Am I tripping? Tomorrow's the 26th. Oh, the 28th is Thursday. I got my days mixed up. 28th is Thursday. Sorry. I could have swore the 28th was Wednesday. The 28th is, sorry, you're right. The 28th is Thursday. And I thought the 28th was Wednesday. I'm off a day. So you're right. The 28th is Thursday. That's when the jerseys drop. Boom. Chargers release Brendan Rice, but they're probably going to bring him back to their practice squad, is what Mike Garofalo said of the NFL Network. I mean, of course, 49ers fans want Brendan Rice. They want Tariq Owens and Brendan Rice on the same roster. Can you imagine? You have Brendan Rice and Tariq Owens on the practice squad for the 49ers. That would be the Nepo All-Star team. Unbelievable. That'd be crazy. Julius Callaway says Ohio State versus Texas this Saturday. Woo! College football is back. Who's winning that one? Is Texas going to win? Arch Manning? My boy? Arch Manning is going to go crazy this year. That's going to be a good game, man. Holy smokes. But football season is back. I'm excited, ladies and gentlemen. Can't wait. Can't wait for the rosters tomorrow. We'll get all the news up, and we will be live tomorrow with Larry Krueger sometime in the evening. That's it for today. I hope you had a good one. Happy Monday. You don't have to go home, but you have to get the heck out of here. Love you. As always, go Niners. Peace.